Hey everyone, it's me again. I am still super sick. I actually didn't plan to make another one of these before, being fully recovered. However, after I finished recording the one yesterday, I realized I forgot to mention a bunch of stuff. Wow, okay, a castle costume. Wow, I didn't even notice. So, one thing I forgot to mention, or actually, there's two things I forgot to mention. I forgot to mention that these past few nights, including last night, and what would have been last night for the one I recorded previously, which was yesterday. Oh god, we're starting with Rainbow Road. So, for the past few nights of being sick, man, I just have not had a good night's sleep. I'm still jet lagged, so I wake up early. And because I'm sick, I constantly wake up to go blow my nose. You guys ever blow your nose so much that it starts to cut? Like, it starts to actually tear? Yeah, it's not the first time it's happened for me, and it's happening again. I blow my nose so much, there's beginning to have cuts on the side of my nose, on the side of my nostrils. This morning, I woke up at 6 in the morning. This morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. because my dog, the little bastard, started barking at 6 in the morning for food. Normally, he wakes up at like 7 to 8, but this time, no, it's 6. So I was basically up since 6 in the morning. I tried to get a little bit more sleep, but by that time, I had like, maybe 30 minutes before I actually had to wake up normally to go to work. So yeah, I forgot to mention that, right now being sick, it really sucks sleeping, because I just constantly wake up to blow my nose and whatever, plus the fact that I'm so jet lagged, so I wake up earlier than I normally ever would. Another thing I forgot to mention yesterday. So yesterday I discussed how, I had a scare from the cops. How the police just showed up at my driveway when we pulled into, the driveway yesterday coming back home from work. We were coming home. There was a cop car just outside, right in front of us. I was thinking, well, if they don't pull into our driveway, they don't talk to us, then it's not our problem. Maybe they're here for one of the neighbors. Well, when we pulled into our driveway, the cops, stopped their car right behind us, rolled down the window, and I was scared, like, oh god, what did I do this time? Why are the cops after me? What have I done this time? And the lady said there's been a lot of burglaries and a lot of incidences in this area lately, so just be careful. We're patrolling the area, that kind of thing. I forgot to mention that, I had an idea that scared me. Do you remember that one scene in the first Home Alone movie where Harry pretended to be a cop? And he was, staking out the area. He was scoping out his next score. Well, that's kind of what I'm afraid of with these two quote-unquote police officers. What if they're actually burglars in disguise, just scoping out the neighborhood where they're about to hit next? I know that's a wild conspiracy theory, If that were the case, these crooks would actually have to get their hands on an actual police cruiser. I don't know, where there's a will, there's a way. Especially these days, right? And, well, that's basically all I forgot to mention yesterday. The fact that I don't sleep well these days, and also that little tinfoil hat theory I have on those two cops. And that is the entire reason why I'm playing another one of these while I'm still sick. And you know what else? I know it's not the case, however, right now, as of this very moment, it kind of feels like the trip the trip to Japan and Hong Kong did more damage than good. At least that's just how it feels right now. You know, maybe I still would have gotten sick regardless of if I went or not. Perhaps I still would have gotten sick regardless. However, you know, yes, I'm happy that I got to experience going to Japan, albeit for a measly 4 days. Yes, I'm happy I got to see Grandma potentially one last time, even though it is in Hong Kong, a place I despise going to. But you know, it's like, well, why does it feel like more damage than good? Piranha Plant, get the hell out of my way. Well, you have to keep in mind that, like, yes, I'm sick right now, probably because of the trip. You know, all the money spent. You know the Airbnb that we stayed at? It was like $500 a night. And we stayed there for 4 to 5 days, so let's say bare minimum $2,000. Plane tickets aren't cheap either, you know? And then, like I said previously, now that I'm back home, it feels like something's off. Feels like something's completely different. We're still adjusting to the jet lag, which isn't comfortable, you know? Gotta get back used to normal life. And you know, life still isn't back to normal. Like I said, because my sister went on a trip the day after we got back, so you know, no time for us to you know, deal with the jet lag. We just gotta I guess deal with it while we were at work. And you know something else that I learned, like, as a fact? So, during the trip, while my parents and we were gone... Ugh. Excuse me, I feel a burp coming. So, while we were gone on the trip, my sister had actually planned to go to Korea with her friend. I kind of figured that would be happening later on. However, no. Something I learned for a fact is that basically, right after my sister gets back from her cruise trip with her husband, I think, like, if not immediately the next day or like 2 days later, she is leaving for Korea. So, my parents and we went to Japan and Hong Kong for 2 weeks. The day we get back, or the day after we get back, my sister goes on a cruise for a week. And then, a day or two after my sister gets back from her cruise, she's leaving for Korea for, let's say, bare minimum a week. I don't know, maybe it's 2 weeks. So, life won't be back to normal for quite a while. And when I say normal, I mean like, well, normally the dogs wake her up to feed them in the morning. Like, she primarily takes care of the dogs, but because she's gone, I have to. So yeah, it's like, well, life is kind of in shambles right now. Life is all messed up right now. I'm making it sound like, you know, it's a big deal, as if, you know, we're bankrupt, we're homeless. It's like, talk about first world problems. A vacation completely threw our lives into shambles. Well, on a side note, today in Pokemon Go was Mega Absol Raid Day, and I only managed to do 3 raids. Not a single shiny. Or at least not a single shiny Absol. I would have done more, however, it seems like the universe really does not want me to do raids. Because not only did damn near every time a raid happened, it was too busy at work for me to walk Well, basically to the other end of the mall where the gym is at, for me to do any of the raids. But also because I think, like, since Hong Kong, like, one of the final research tasks I got was do 5 raids, and that is, like, quite a hefty research task to do. It took several days just for me to do 5 raids, because I sure wasn't spending a remote raid pass to do one. At least if it's not something I care to do. Something I care to raid. Let's see. Early this morning, I got a shiny Moltres in my original Ultra Sun copy. And then today in Pokemon Go, aside from the Mega Absols, I got 2 shiny Sneasels on top of the 4 other shiny Sneasels I got earlier this week. Like, goddamn, I'm getting nothing but shiny Sneasels. Well, that's not entirely true. Earlier today, I also got a, one more strange-looking shiny Totodile called Clamperl. But, like, damn, all these shiny Sneasels, man. And, I would have liked to get a shiny Absol from the raid day, of course. Normally, I don't really like catching shinies and anything besides just a regular Pokeball. However, when it comes to raids, it's like, got no choice there. And I will admit, shiny Absol is a perfect match for a Premier Ball. Or rather, I should say that backwards. The Premier Ball is a perfect match for shiny Absol. So, today would have been the optimal time. It's not like I'll be doing a lot of Mega Absol raids in the future, hoping for a shiny, just to get it in a matching Pokeball. Ah! Oh, I thought this was, I thought I was holding a shell. Not a shell. I thought I was holding a mushroom. Well, this was an absolute abysmal match. I blame it on my sickness. And the fact that I've been awake since 6 in the morning. Man, I tell you, being sick sucks. Oh, you want to know something else I remembered today? Today it hit me like, aw shit, I'm back for my trip. And that means I need to do blood work. Before I left for the trip, I did a doctor's appointment just as like a checkup. And then, my mom wanted me to do blood work, like just test out my blood for just absolutely anything. Just a, just a checkup. And, well, I don't like being poked. I severely hate needles. So now that I'm back, oh man, I need to take blood work. Obviously, I'm gonna have to wait until I'm healthy again to do it. I'm not looking forward to it. Anyways, there you go. Here's another one of these for me to pump out. Now, I'm really gonna rest. I'm really gonna wait until I'm better before I do more. So, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Goodbye.